it's lifting and forcing that snow or the air up in the case of a cold front or an area of low pressure. So check that box. We've got a pretty strong cold front coming in during the second half of the evening tomorrow and tomorrow night. Moisture. Not a ton of moisture. We're talking mainly about low-level moisture because that low-level moisture gets lifted. It condenses into the clouds and the precipitation, and that actually releases more energy. So we are going to have a little bit of an increase in the humidity dial for tomorrow. Not summer sultry heat and humidity, but enough that's part of the equation. Unstable air, cold air aloft. That's one thing that's not terribly strong with this event, but enough that we see hail as one of the threats. In an exceptional event, that cold air aloft would then sink in conjunction with the rising air, creating a very volatile environment. Again, not zero, and it will be present tomorrow, something we are watching. Wind shear, it's also important for a couple of things. One, that wind shear oftentimes allows a thunderstorm that's developing to evacuate mass, basically like a vacuum, right? You're kind of pulling that air up and you're getting rid of it. If that air just was pulled up and kind of sat there and stationary, kind of sink down on itself, it would collapse under the weight of that. So that wind shear, there's two ways you can have wind shear. Thank you, Kyle. It can be directional shear or speed shear. Either one or both of those will be present tomorrow. So again, something else that we're watching closely. Wind shear, speed is like going on a highway. You might be in the slow lane, somebody speeds past you. That's speed shear. Directional shear, meaning the wind might be coming out of the south at the low levels and out of the west at the upper levels. Again, that would create more instability. Now, we're going to be talking about thunderstorms, but in order to get a severe thunderstorm, you need one or all of these three things. Hail greater than 1 inch, wind gusts nearly 60 miles an hour, and or a tornado. Of those threats tomorrow, winds, hail, and tornado in that order, and we'll look at that in the next couple of minutes as well. A couple of things to keep in mind. Hopefully you're joining us, and we got those questions again. Keep the comments coming in the Facebook chat and also on the texting them to our phone number 614-460-3345. A couple of might be common sense. Think about it now, because in the heat of the moment tomorrow, you might be scrambling and just kind of take a breath. You've been through this before. We're going to go through it again, but tomorrow's event has an opportunity to give you plenty of lead time. We're talking Monday evening about something that's going to happen, again, about 16 to 24 hours from now. Stay inside if there is a warning issued until that warning ends. Stay away from doors and windows. One thing I'll make exceptionally clear, we do not want pictures or video from anybody during the storm or even after the storm. It's not safe for you to go outside. Power lines could be down, very dangerous. It could be some flooding or flash flooding. It still could be raining, still could be lightning, very dangerous. Stay tuned, stay inside, and stay connected. That's also very important because you're watching me right now on Facebook Live or 10 TV Plus. You might be watching us through your mobile app. You might be watching us on another device. That's great. National Weather Service Radio, also a very good way. And they're $25 or less at any big box store. And that's something to keep in mind too. Now, the other thing we talked about is the wind shear and the hail size. You've got to have strong updrafts in those storms in order to support some large hail. And we're not talking about large hail. Some places last week saw softball size hail over 5 inches. That is enormous, dangerous hail. What we're looking at in terms of the hail and the strength of the storm required is somewhere along the lines of around 1 inch to 1 inch and 1/8, around 1/4, to a little bit larger around a golf ball size, a ping pong size, the golf ball size. So the one thing we look at as meteorologists is what's the updraft. Remember, we talked about the lift and the moisture and all those things coming together. If we can sustain a very strong updraft, that actually keeps those hailstones buoyant long enough that they will accrue or they'll accretiate more ice. They'll gain more mass and get bigger. Eventually so large that they'll either fall straight from the storm or they're just going to shot out and spit out from the top of the thunderstorm. Neither situation is good, so hail, again, one of the things that we are looking at for tomorrow. Now, the areas shaded in the orange, we're at a level 3 out of 5, and I mentioned that a few minutes ago. Possible, scattered, numerous, significant, extreme. So we've seen this before too, and we've also seen instances where we've been perhaps a possible or scattered and had severe weather. This is not a guarantee of any measure. It's just something for us as the meteorologists to take a look at from our partners at the National Weather Service, specifically the Storm Prediction Center. This is all those gentlemen and ladies do. The meteorologists will forecast for severe weather. That is it. So when they give us a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, Ohio, got a 3 out of 5, that's something that we take notice of immediately, and that helps get our senses and our forecast tuned up. So in terms of the risks to the afternoon and evening, tornado and flooding low. I would not say zero to any of those instances in any spring severe weather event in central Ohio. We've moved a little bit away from hail being an elevated concern, but wind could be. And think about it. If these thunderstorms have anything similar to their predecessors coming last week or last month, they've been moving at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. So it doesn't take much. Remember that severe weather criteria? It has to be over 58 miles an hour. So if a storm is moving at 50 miles an hour and the wind out ahead of it is being pushed at 20 miles an hour, that additive or the cumulative effect is about 70 miles an hour. So not out of the question. And we're really not going to know exactly how this plays out. A lot of it has to do with the day of, the characteristics of the storm, the time of the day they come through, and really what happens in the morning. So here's the latest model guidance. It's not gospel, it's just guidance. We're looking at mid-morning on Tuesday till about lunchtime. And notice that area begins to sneak in just west of London, just northwest of Kenton. That goes through very quickly around 1 o'clock. This is round 1 between Delaware, Columbus, and down towards Circleville. Not expecting widespread severe with this storm, but it's going to be the first one of the bunch and it's going to have plenty of untapped energy to feed off of. So very interested to see how this plays out. That's round 1. That races out of town, moving east of Coshocton and Cambridge and Zanesville by 2:30. A couple leftovers north around Bucyrus, Marion, and Kenton at 2:30 p.m. A little bit of a break. Let's catch our breath. Maybe kids are coming home from school and you're coming home from work early. Maybe you're just making your way out and about 4 or 5 o'clock. That little bit of a lull is just that. It's little because by 6 o'clock, we're going to watch the next area of storms coming in. This one well behind the initial round, and watch how the evolution and the structure of this moves through from 6 till about 7 o'clock. We're seeing a couple of pockets or some lines of storms. We're not seeing individual cells, and that would be troubling in the sense that if they're individual supercell storms, oftentimes they will feed on the environment and they will hog all that energy to themselves. That's bad. Now, this is not much better, but it's better in the sense that this line of thunderstorms, Mansfield, Mount Gilead, kind of right down 71, Delaware, Marysville, back to Columbus and London. That line will be sharing the available energy. The problem, though, with a line like this, oftentimes little pockets of that line can bow out or stretch to kind of race out ahead of its near neighbors. That's when we can get some exceptionally damaging wind, and any one of these storms, again, could produce hail. So let's fast forward to 8 o'clock, about this time tomorrow. Zanesville, Cambridge, Caldwell, Morgan County, and Perry County, and down to the south, Circleville, Lancaster, and then Washington Courthouse. That is just before sunset tomorrow. That it might be a little bit of saving grace, too, is that this will be occurring during the daylight hours, so you can see what's happening around you. As we go through 9 o'clock, 9:30, one little leftover tries to make an appearance south of Columbus. That might be an artifact. Remains to be seen. Again, there's a lot that has to happen between now and 9:30, but by 11 o'clock on Tuesday night, I think we're clear. So it looks like that, again, really focusing mid-late afternoon till about early evening, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. By midnight tomorrow night, we're looking and feeling pretty good. So that's a quick kind of overview and then down to the granular level and timing things out for you. I'm going to go back to our Weather Center and see if we've got some questions and comments from the folks on Facebook or on our text line. Let's see what we've got here, and we'll try and kind of go through these, kind of one-man banding it this evening, so bear with me as we kind of walk through some of these questions and situations. Let's see, do you think severe weather, and if you have your name in there too, we're happy to hear that. Do you think severe weather outbreak will be possible? Tornado threat, oh, that was from last week. Severe weather outbreak is possible tomorrow. At this point, we're looking at the possibility of really looking at wind and hail being the primary concerns. And you see again on the other screen, and thanks for Kyle for dialing this up, kind of doing a couple of things here at once and walking through this. I'm going to answer these questions. We're still giving you some good information on my other side there to your left. Severe weather outbreak, probably not a historic event tomorrow. Things are just not lining up perfectly for that, but certainly something that we're watching very closely. Somebody said there's no sound. That was at 8:30. Sorry about that. I was pretty sure I had my microphone on. Yeah, we got that fixed. Cool. Thank you. Got it. Yes, we are good. We have sound and pictures, which is what TV is all about. Watching from YouTube. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that. The other thing to keep in mind is that tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have what you see keep on the wrong side. Keep on to that side. Basically, just some updated information leading up to Aaron White will be on at 10:30. So to be clear, you won't be able to hear anything at 10 o'clock to 10:30 tomorrow morning. We're going to come on again at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and that's outside of our regular newscasts on 10 TV. So this is talking just 10 TV Plus. So let's see if we've got some folks chiming in on Facebook. Right now, we've got some comments. Sound, yes, beautiful. Thank you. We have sound. Yes, I think we've conquered the sound problem. Not getting a ton of there. Now we're getting some comments. Thank you. Let me go through these. Sound. All right. Good. Any comments, questions? A lot of questions about the sound, and again, I think we do have that resolved, which is good news. Let's go to this particular feed and see if I can get some additional comments here. Give me a second, Kyle. Let's go to the right-hand side again. Bear with me here. All right. All right, so we've got sound. Got work on that. A lot of people. The amount of people that commented they couldn't hear me is encouraging. That means there's people actually listening now. If you've got a question about timing, about any other details about the forecast, happy to try and answer them for you. Great, here we go. That's Allie in Mount Gilead. She's asking about timing, so we'll just kind of walk through this quickly, Allie, for you. And the other thing to keep in mind, what we're showing you right now, and I mentioned it's not trying to be irreverent, but just this is the guidance. It's not gospel. And Mount Gilead would probably bear the brunt of that about 6 to 6. Let's just to be safe, Allie, 6 to 7:30 tomorrow. We're trying to really put a black and white on something that is just inherently gray. We're trying to narrow down the timing and the focus of these storms in something that is chaotic. So I'm not trying to defend what we do. I'm a meteorologist by trade. I love what I do. But in the kind of level of detail that you might be looking for and asking questions about, we just can't tell you right now with a high degree of certainty. We can speculate. We can help you prepare. The one thing we'll say for everybody is to really be prepared. Have a severe weather plan. We talked about papers and pets and pharmaceuticals and people, of course. Keep that in mind. Just don't try and say it 5 times fast. It's really important to maintain your head, maintain some calmness when severe weather hits, because panic is not going to do anybody any good. And we talked about a severe weather plan, having that in place. Obviously, you're watching right now on 10 TV Plus. That's a great way. But you know, what if your cell goes down? What if your cable goes out, or your satellite TV? I'll go back again. A weather radio is very handy. If you don't have one, just plan on getting one. They're under $20 on the internet, $20-25 at a big box store. It's money well spent. It might be money that some folks might not have handily, but it's very important to be able to get those, because no matter where you are, if you have that weather radio with you, automatically it connects to the antennas are being broadcast around Ohio and really across the country for that matter, and it will give you latest information, especially warnings where you are at. So just keep that in mind. That's more than one way to get that severe weather information. So Eric, thanks for asking. Talking about when. I'm going to run through the timeline again. Maybe we can come back to me on full screen camera here in the Weather Center. Kyle, we'll kind of walk that through. Awesome, thank you. We're looking at first line coming through, kind of a precursor, if you will. That's 1 o'clock. A little bit left over around 2 to 3 o'clock to the north. A little bit of a lull, 4 to 5:30. Then 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I'm going to call it 9 just to be sure. So really, I'm going to scrub this backwards. I'm not trying to make anybody have nauseous. Look, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So that window, now that could change. And that's one of the things I was trying to get a little bit on the soapbox, but I'll come back down again. This is not set in stone. We're looking at multiple different models. This is just the easiest one for us to show you. And it's something that we are going to be watching very, very carefully. We were looking at that earlier today, the different models, where we find some trends, where we find model alignment. That just lends a little more confidence, a little more credibility to what we're seeing, what we communicate to you. So the forecast confidence is high that we're going to see severe weather tomorrow. The forecast confidence is medium in the timing of that mid-afternoon through late evening. Again, let's just widen the range and say 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to be safe. The exact details, when is fill in the blank going to be hitting my home, my county? We just really can't tell that. So we really encourage you this far ahead of the event to just be ready, be prepared. and know how you're going to get that weather information tomorrow. The one way, right now, you're either watching us on Facebook, streaming live, perhaps on YouTube, or even on 10 TV Plus. So download that 10 TV Plus app to your smart TV or smart device. All right, we got all right, a couple people on there. Don't need the spam on the comments. How many rounds of storms tests? Probably 2. Looking like 2, I think, would be good. And the problem there is, well, we don't know right now. In this situation, I've seen there's really 3 different scenarios. Scenario number 1, we see a midday, early afternoon round that's pretty strong, and then we see a second round kind of limp through. This other scenario is first round is pretty strong, second round is even stronger. That's bad. Third scenario is first round kind of limps on through, kind of primes the pump. Second round is stronger. And that's what we're looking at too. And we're trying to answer those questions. We want to know the answers as much as you do, right? Because you're concerned about what's happening exactly where you live and when. But we've got multiple counties with a very large viewing area that we're trying to take care of and get those answers to. So the when, let's just paint that between 3 and 9 o'clock. Do you see the storms intensifying? Possibly. The models did not do a great job of initializing on the storms that are occurring today to our west. So that makes us kind of think about, okay, so oftentimes as a storm begins to develop and move further east, it sounds really simple, and it's not set in stone, so to speak, but a lot of times as storm systems come out of the Rocky Mountains and then move into the plains, there's a lot of robust data across the U.S. And once the storm begins to kind of reveal itself, then the modeling and the forecasting can become a bit more accurate. That's something to consider. So I'm not saying that the models are right or wrong or good or bad. That's basically what we have to help us forecast these things. The setup will be there tomorrow for strong to severe storms. The question remains exactly how will those storms move on through. Big thank you to all the folks now on Facebook that can hear me and are writing in their comments in the comment section. I'm going to go back and look again at our phone number here and see we've got some folks. All right. So, somebody dressed up as a meteorologist for Halloween. Love the station. And hopefully you and your family are safe tomorrow. The definition of enhanced risk. So basically it's a 3 out of 5. The enhanced, we'll get to that in a second. Looking at the risk levels, there they are right now. So possible, scattered, numerous, significant, extreme. Those are the different categories of the severe outlooks. Oftentimes day of or in real time, the storm prediction level will take that one step further and talk about a particularly dangerous situation or a PDS or an enhanced risk. That's something to consider there. So got some good folks in there. I'm going to go back to the Facebook page. We're going to wrap it up in just a few minutes. What happened to my Facebook tab? Oh my goodness. Bear with me now. I may have done the unthinkable and closed that Facebook tab, but I'll be right there in a second. And just kind of want to wrap it up and to make sure that we are taking care of our folks on 10 TV Plus. We appreciate you joining us on whatever medium it is that you are. You're watching on the screen over my shoulder. We're going live, and we're just looking at some of the wheel of information coming on and playing back. Talking about the watches to the west. We've got the radar scan, the future radar, I should say, in here. Do you think the tornado risk will be upgraded? I don't think the tornado risk will be upgraded. Again, it's not zero. It's not high. We've seen risks over 15% at times when you're painting with a broad brush for central Ohio. You're welcome for answering the question. There are some thunderstorms, Bella, Thursday to Saturday. I don't think that those thunderstorms, Saturday I think is good. Friday, a couple of showers. Thursday, maybe some thunderstorms. But to be honest with you, our focus is on the event tomorrow. And the guidance 4 days out is not indicating anything that would lean one way or the other, severe or not severe. So that's something that we're watching and we're aware of, but the timing and intensity of those is still TBD. Yeah, those Austin in Cambridge, the winds can be stronger. It's winds possible. I think wind is the primary category in things that we're most concerned about. Hail being second, flooding and tornadoes being third. It's not something that is zero, but those threats are pretty low. So we're going to wrap it up. I see a couple of questions in there, and I do want to thank everybody for submitting those questions, and I apologize for breaking out. Let's see, make sure I captured everybody in the text. And keep the text message handy. If you text us once, you can put it in however you want. WBNS, 10TV, plus, Jerry, whatever. And we'll get those text messages. It might just make it easier for you to do that, asking questions tomorrow. The other thing to keep in mind is that it enables you, when you can do so safely, either before or safely after the storm, not during the storm, to text us as what's happening. You can text us pictures as well. But encourage you, do not go near windows or doors during the storm, and take extreme caution if you're outside after the storm. We'll mention it again, an opportunity this evening coming up at 9 o'clock, and you've got pretty much tomorrow morning through midday. Make sure that when you're in a severe weather situation, as many of us will be tomorrow, that you know what you're going to do to take care of your people and your pets and your papers and your pharmaceuticals, because you might come out of your bathroom or your basement or your kitchen, or might just come out of your house. Power lines might be down. You could have damage to your home. You could have flooding. So your papers or your medication, and the most important thing, of course, are your people. Make sure you know where your people are going to be, your friends and your family members. And if you can, just make sure that there's a little heads up. Hey, Jerry said there might be some severe weather tomorrow. What's your plan? Where are you going to be? What are you going to do? And one of those things might be to watch us again on 10 TV Plus during the day and on 10 TV during our regular newscast. So we're going to put a wrap on it right now for this Monday evening. I do thank you all for joining us. And now that you can hear us, I thank you all for submitting your questions and comments. Hopefully we will not be tracking a widespread, significant, severe event tomorrow, but in the event that we are ready, and I hope you are too. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.